You are listening to KSG podcast. This is a short, crisp, concise, exam-oriented editorial for civil services aspirants. A fast track to growth. This is the topic of this podcast. Source for the content is Hardeep S. Puri's article for the Indian Express. History provides eloquent testimony, if any was needed, that empires rise, flourish, and flounder, and that connectivity and logistics invariably provide part, if not all, of the explanation for the same. Chandragupta Maurya and Ashoka built highways along an ancient route called Uttarapath in the 3rd century BC. Sher Shah Suri expanded on this network in the 16th century and rebuilt this ancient path of commerce. The 190 years of British colonial domination has its own story. Yes, they did build railways, ports and bridges, but mainly to mine out wealth from India and ship it to England or export raw cotton and import cloth made in the mills of Lancashire and Manchester. The British left behind a disorganised patchwork of bureaucratic silos, the rail system built by them providing a good example. Their organizations were designed to be commandeered for the imperial exploitation of India rather than synergetic nation building. The Prime Minister's Gati Shakti plan is a bold step in changing the status of the progress of the nation from go slow to go fast. Over the past 7 years, our government has taken giant strides in simplifying and integrating disparate policies and procedures to accelerate development. GST simplified the taxation of goods and services, while Dhan-Aadhaar-Mudra brought in instant direct benefit transfer into bank accounts. The Pradhan Mantri Sadak Yojana, UDAN, Jal Marg Vikas, industrial and freight corridors, the Bharatmala and Sagarmala projects have given a boost to the infrastructure and industrial prowess of the country. Even during the COVID-19 pandemic, we rolled out One Nation, One Ration card, the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission and Aatmanirbhar Bharat mission. We have been able to formulate, mass produce, transport, administer and follow up 1 billion doses of a temperature-sensitive novel vaccine. Indian consumers today enjoy same-day or next-day deliveries on e-commerce platforms, and the time has come for the government to deliver to these standards. The Indian logistics sector, already a $200 billion market, is set to grow at over 10% CAGR in the next 5 years to reach around $330 billion and power a $5 trillion economy. However, the cost of Indian logistics remains high at 13 to 14% of GDP compared to developed nations where they are 8 to 10%. India's model mix is heavily skewed towards roads, with 60 to 65% of transport happening via road compared to 25 to 30% in developed countries, prompting higher costs. The rail freight business depends excessively on coal and domestic waterways, face numerous challenges due to high first and last mile costs, unavailability of a return load in most cases, high voyage costs for specialized vessels, and high repositioning costs of domestic containers, among others. The PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan will herald a new era of infrastructure development and multimodal logistics. We will synergize infrastructure development projects from multiple ministries under one master plan. We will be able to optimize different modes of logistics to reduce freight costs and increase competitiveness, drive investment, and create millions of jobs. We will leverage technology and geospatial mapping to create an online dashboard which will let central and state agencies, departments, and PSUs as well as private players having a bird's eye view of each other's planned development throughout the country. India embarked on an unprecedented scale of infrastructure development, spending almost 11.5 lakh crore rupees in the 7 years compared to just 1.5 lakh crore spent in the 10 years between 2004 and 2014. The metro rail network has been expanded up to 721 kilometers of metro lines in 18 cities from 250 kilometers in 2014, and a network of 1058 kilometers is under construction in 27 cities. The master plan will further augment urban infrastructure development by streamlining planning and approvals and integrating civic amenities. It is difficult to fully visualize the sheer scale of development and investments planned under the PM Gati Shakti Master Plan. It will be an inflection point in the history of our nation. It will transform Indian infrastructure and logistics to compete with the world's leading economies. Future generations will look back and remark at an India before PM Gati Shakti master plan and an India after it. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. To join KSG India courses and to crack the ICE exam, visit ksgindia.com. You can also get a PDF of this podcast on ksgindia.com.